So the things that make a man high value are completely different from the things that make a woman high value. Just like I said in my previous video, the 5 traits of a high value woman, society nowadays is pushing for women to become more masculine and for men to become more feminine. This has a lot of negative consequences, including loss of respect for yourself, loss of respect from others, not being in the proper physical shape, low testosterone, not getting attention from the women that you like, living paycheck to paycheck, not having enough money to buy the things you want or to have the kind of lifestyle you want, which will impact both you and the future generations to come. So if all these consequences sound very scary and unappealing to you, then this video is for you and you should continue watching the rest of the video. Number 1, establish structure and discipline into your life. What do I mean by structure and discipline? I mean that it is the foundation, the first step, the most important step, the foundation to becoming a high value man. When you have that discipline and structure, everything else can happen after that. The way to achieve that structure or foundation is by becoming that person who you intend to become, or becoming that person who will naturally achieve a specific goal. For example, let's just say hypothetically that you made it your plan to become a personal trainer in the next 2 years. You're not going to become a personal trainer by thinking one day, oh snap, yeah, I want to become a personal trainer today, and I'm going to watch a few videos and research some workout plans, and I'll just become a personal trainer and just share my advice on TikTok and YouTube. It does not work that way. What you have to do is you have to become that personal trainer. You have to eat like that personal trainer, research workouts and work them out like a personal trainer, get proper sleep like a personal trainer, eliminate bad habits and junk from your food like a personal trainer, figuring out how to work with different body types like a personal trainer, and do that consistently after doing so much research and becoming a guru at it for a period of, let's say, 2 years, then you can become a personal trainer. Why? Because you basically are one at that point. You eat like one, you look like one, you train like one, you sleep like one. All those things will naturally lead to it. I got this concept of the structure from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. I talked about it in at least 2 other videos. They were probably out in the summer, but it's an amazing book and it talks about this. Identity-based goals versus outcome-based goals. And I'll link it in the description below. One of my favorite books. Maybe it's in the top 10. So yeah, back to that book. It's about breaking bad habits and developing the new ones. The way for you to develop that structure in your life is by following that specific system, or at least a very similar one. And the only way you will be able to do that is if you become mentally tough. If you have a plan, when you have a plan in your life, and you work on it relentlessly for a period of years, it's an extended period of time, and you become that person who will achieve that specific goal because you have a plan and you stick to it, especially during the hard days when you don't want to, because it's not easy. And trust me, I know, I can relate to this from experience. And you do that consistently and eventually you achieve that goal. That's what makes you a high value man. Because you have discipline, everything else comes secondary to that structure and discipline. Don't be like most guys your age who spend hours upon hours, if you're like 18 to 25 or even older, which is really fucking pathetic if you ask me, who all they do after work all day is watch a bunch of Netflix, eat a bunch of junk, play video games, when that kind of time that you're never gonna get back could have been dedicated to learning a new skill, developing a new habit, researching ways that you can make more money in the next few years by being consistent. So don't be like one of those men who are just wasting their time, their most fruitful and productive years of their life. Please do not do this. Number 2, prioritize your physical fitness. This one is absolutely key, and this one is the most obvious one that represents the level of care and respect that you have for yourself. Because this one is apparent, people can see it. When you see a person who's in very good physical shape, you can't help but respect that because it is evident just by looking at that person that this person works out, he probably has a good gym routine, probably a good sleeping routine, and probably a good nutritional routine. Now, if you don't have this routine already, what I need you to do is commit to going to the gym at least 3 days a week. I'm not going to tell you what workouts you should or shouldn't do because you should start researching this yourself and start implementing that. When you start going to the gym consistently, you're going to start seeing changes in the way that you view yourself, in the way that you respect yourself. After going to the gym for a certain amount of time, especially if you strength train, you're going to see in a couple of weeks, a couple of months, depending on how often you go, you're going to start to see that you're feeling better because when you go to the gym, your body produces dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine naturally, which make you feel better naturally. That's your body rewarding you for going to the gym. Your skin tone is going to look better. You're going to look physically bigger if you're muscle building, you're bodybuilding. And you're going to start respecting yourself. When you start respecting yourself, people in turn will start to respect you more. You're just going to be walking with a certain type of confidence as opposed to you were before. If you were like fat or obese, you probably didn't look that confident because you didn't have as much respect for yourself. But like I said, when you're physically fit, you start to respect yourself more because you see the results in the mirror every single day. The mirror does not lie to you. And so you like what you see. You're gonna start carrying yourself in a more positive way. You're just gonna have a more confident posture. And people will notice, trust me. If you haven't been as confident before, people will start to treat you with more respect because they're like, this is a confident dude. He's carrying himself better. He looks better. I respect that. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't have to be some power lifter who bench presses 400 pounds just to be physically fit. But what you do need to do is establish a consistent gym routine. It's different for everybody. Me, for example, right now, I'm kind of bulking. I'm in a bulking season where I go 3 days a week, but during those 3 days, it's compound workouts that are very exhausting, and it's kind of like an extensive schedule. Compound workouts like deadlifts, bench press, squatting, pull-ups, chin-ups, bent over rows, all those things. Plus cardio on top of that, plus stretches and all that stuff, plus eating properly. So me, for example, I'm doing that because there's certain body parts of mine, they're not as big as I'd like them to be, so I'm bulking temporarily and then I'm gonna kind of cut down. So my gym goals don't necessarily have to be the same as you, but the whole point is, whatever it is, you have to prioritize your physical fitness. For some guys, it's completely different. They optimize in cardio and flexibility and mobility. For those guys, it's different, but still they prioritize their fitness. As long as you prioritize your fitness, you're good, because physical fitness is not optional to a high value man. It is an absolute priority. Step number 3, making decent money. Guys, this is an absolute must for the high value man. It is not an option. It is not optional at all. Making decent money, in my opinion, the number I would say, if you're living here in the US, is $100,000 per year minimum, because that's gonna put you at the top 10% for income earning potential for men here in the US. You might ask, okay, that's great and all, but how do I make that money? Good question. It comes down to one thing: giving value. The more value you give, the more you will be compensated for giving value. Let me give you an example of myself. I started making 6 figures ever since I was 25 years old. Why? Because that's when I became a pharmacist. Graduated as a pharmacist, took my boards, got licensed, started working, and started making over $100,000 per year. Why does a pharmacist make that much? Because a pharmacist is on a little bit of the higher income earning potential of people who went to school and for the skills that they have. And typically, the higher paying jobs are either the ones where you had to go for a lot of years in school. I spent 7 years, from 18 to 25, I busted my ass. Or they require you to have a lot of experience. For example, I have one of my friends who's been in IT for like 7 to 10 years, and they didn't even go to school for that, but they're making over 6 figures doing that. Why? It's because of their experience. That's the value that they can provide. If right now you're working at a grocery store and you're thinking, I want to make 6 figures, no offense, but you're out of your mind. No offense, you're easily replaceable because anyone could do your job. Not anyone could become a pharmacist and do a pharmacist's job. Not anyone could become an IT guy and do that IT guy's work, especially if he's a manager, and make $100,000. So if you're not in that position right now, the best piece of advice I can advise you is to double down on a skill of interest to you. Be an absolute guru at it for years, for a couple of years, just a period of years. You're gonna have to sacrifice, learn everything it is about that skill. Once you become an expert at that thing, you can start monetizing your services and getting people to pay you for their services. Whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on other platforms, whether it's in person, I don't know what it is, but that's the bottom line. Giving value. That's how men of high value make money. Another example, that personal trainer example I gave earlier. There are personal trainers out there who are making way more than pharmacists are. Some of them are gurus online who have online courses, and they make killing off of doing this because they busted their ass for years to become physically fit and to have the knowledge and to work with people of different body types, both men and women. And after that, they doubled it down on social media so that now people are buying their courses. People are being coached by these people online, and some of these guys are like millionaires. Why? Because they double down on the skill, and that's the value that they can give to the world. Some of them even coach celebrities. They got that good at doing their thing. Maybe it's going to take you 5-10 years if you want to be that level. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. Why? It's because of your value. When you as a man can give value, that's your earning potential. It's going to reflect exactly that. The bottom line is this. If you want to be a man of high value, you have to find a way to be making good money to put yourself in at least the top 10% of men. How do you do this? Double down on a skill, do whatever. Me right now, for example, besides being a pharmacist, right now I'm focusing mainly on personal development and dating coaching. How did I get good at that? I started around 8 to 9 years ago focusing on these things, and a little over 7 years ago, that's when I really delved deeply into this, reading books all the time, experimenting all the time, going out and having my own experiences, applying the things that the book taught, and seeing positive results in my own life, and going through hardships and bad experiences and good experiences. All those things led to me sharing my lessons with you and being able to coach you through that because I became a guru at that thing, because I became obsessed with that one thing. Until today, I'm still like that. I'm still reading all the time, watching videos all the time, and applying all the time as much as possible. So that's my thing. But for you, the bottom line is you have to seek to become an expert at some field if you want to start making money. If you're between the ages of 18 and 25 right now, those are your years of the most productivity that you'll ever have. Actually, not even that. Let me rephrase that. Those are the years that are going to set the tone for the rest of your life, between the ages of 18 and 25. Those are the years where you have to focus on hustling. Do not focus on women, do not focus on partying, and do not focus on distractions. Focus on attractions, which are things that are going to benefit you in the future. I'm not saying not to go out every once in a while, maybe 1 to 2 days a week, sure. But besides that, the priority is to focus. The priority is not women, it's not clubs, it's not any of that. So those 7 years between 18 and 25 will set the tone for the rest of your life. If you slack and you don't hustle during those years, chances are you are going to regret it. Number 4, develop your style and your looks. You see, a great way to become high value is to look the part of a high value man. You see, you can't help but respect a man whom, when you look at him, he smells good, he looks good, his beard is nice and properly groomed, he has a nice haircut, he has nice hygiene, his teeth look nice, he's walking confidently with like really nice clothes that fit him, clothes that maybe show off his muscles a little bit. You can't help but respect that. So in order to become the part, you have to look the part. Whenever you go out, even if it's just with your boys, make sure you're nicely dressed. Make sure you look like a person who respects themselves through your clothing. When you're out on a date, make sure you look as appealing as possible so that the woman thinks of you as a man who respects himself and a high value man. Whenever you go to a wedding, don't just aim to look average with an average looking suit, because that's what average people do. Aim to stand out in a good way. Aim to wear a suit that looks nice, that looks sharp, it really suits you. It suits your body, it suits your body type. Now, when I say to look good, I don't necessarily mean to show up in a suit wherever you go, but what I mean is aim to look as good as possible wherever you go. Now, when I say looks, I mean everything. Physical fitness, your beard grooming, your hair, your skin tone and your skincare routine. Having a nice watch, this also means that you respect yourself, because having a nice watch is part of being stylish. Wearing clothes that fit you nice and properly. Having good cologne on, smelling nice, having nice looking teeth, everything, it all matters. So the bottom line is, if you dress and look like you respect yourself, you are actually going to respect yourself, and people as well will respect you for that. Number 5, develop your social skills. A high value man always has great social skills, even if he's naturally introverted. Great social skills are going to enable you to connect with people way easier, to have no problem networking with people, and just make you a very magnetic person to be around. The type of person where people, when they talk to you, they want to talk to you again. They feel like they've known you for years. They feel like they can joke around with you because they know you and you're very comfortable for them to be around. And again, you don't have to be naturally extroverted like I am, but even if you're introverted, all you got to do is learn the social skills in order to do this. And a great way to do that worked for me, is by reading a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I'll even leave the link in the description below. What this book basically teaches you is how to get people to like you. And the way to get people to like you is to show a genuine interest in them. Keyword genuine, not manipulative, not fake. And the way to do that is basically listening to them, being sincere about it, showing an interest in the things that they're interested in, and remembering details about them, and specifically remembering their name. People's names to them are super important. So when you have this effect on people, people will naturally become drawn to you, whether they're men or women, whether if it's friends of friends, even if you're meeting them for the first time, you are going to have a huge advantage over other people if you develop good social skills, because you'll be able to connect with people with much more ease than the average person can. And when you have those skills, you never know where those skills could take you. It could take you to a big networking opportunity. It could lead you to meeting the love of your life. You literally just never know. Also, when you have good social skills, you can market yourself much better. You'll just know how to talk and people are going to become drawn to you. If you just say nothing, people will never know about you. Again, even if you're introverted, you could still do this. You don't have to be a natural extrovert and open your goddamn mouth all the time. Most of it, to be honest, revolves around listening and being influential, being a powerful, influential figure. When you speak, people like to listen to you. That's what it's more about. It's not about talking in and of itself. It's about connecting, being magnetic, drawing people to you, influencing them the right way to your way of thinking. And this is not manipulation. This is just by being sincerely interested in them for them. Because at the end of the day, people love to feel important. And if you can show them that importance, they're going to love you for it. And by the way, this book that I mentioned, How to Win Friends and Influence People, it's one of the most famous self-help books of all time. I think it was published in the 1920s or the 1930s. I kid you not. But up until today, its principles work. And most ultra successful people have read that book or they apply the principles in it. So you should definitely read it. I highly recommend it for you. So if you implement all these 5 steps, you will inevitably become a higher value man. The first step is the most important, which is the discipline and the structure. And all the other 4 points come after that, but that's the main one and that's the first point. The other 4 points, you can do them simultaneously and grow them all at the same time. So if you focus on all of those in just a few years amount of time, I guarantee you, you can become a high value man, and you will become a high value man if you consistently show up, hustle, learn, and keep improving yourself in every single aspect. Because at the end of the day, man, a man's value to the world comes from the value that he provides, which is his finances, the money he makes, his physical fitness, his social skills, his look, his physique, his influence, his powerful influence, his confidence, his leadership. All those things matter. And because all those things matter and you want to become a high value man, especially if you're watching up until this point, you should definitely implement all these steps to become that higher value man. You're going to get the respect that you want from other people. You're going to be making the type of money you want. You're going to be in a relationship with the type of woman you want, or marriage with the type of woman you want. And you're just going to be living life on your own terms, and you're going to have the kind of physique you want. And just like I said, live life on your own terms, do what you want, be an influential figure, leave your mark on the world for now and also for generations to come, because that's ultimately what your goal is if you want to become a man of high value.